Alright, so, okay. I'll open up with a fun fact. Did you know you can swim in a nuclear power plant, like one of those like nuclear waste, like it's not a waste pad, but it's like a it's like one of those things where it's an exchange of water temperature. You can swim in one of those as long as you don't dive too deep to get radiation poison. But that's all after you can survive bullet shots. So, yeah. Why didn't you read the rules? The rules are important. Oh yeah, I should probably read these. You get better practice. I did YouTube back in the days. I'd sometimes have to warm up a bit before commentating anything. Yeah, I mean like it's one of those. It's like even worse when you have social anxiety. So you're just like, oh, I don't know what to say. I've never done this before. So yeah, all right. Tell me if you guys can see this and it doesn't look like total garbage. Scrolling up and down. But only in full screen. All right. It's gonna look even worse. But if I zoom in, can you see that it's letters? The big red button pressed. All right, that's cool. So thanks everybody. The three of you. One of you's hiding. That's okay. But thanks everyone for coming out. This is the first stream I've ever done. So yeah. So this is the jam game I did with Club Games and Joseph Ellis. And if you've been on the GMZ, that's not Joe Ellis, that's Joseph Ellis. Two different people. Very confusing. So what we had as an idea, for anyone that doesn't know, I don't think anyone in here doesn't know, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I'll put this on YouTube because I'm cool like that. Uh, so what it is the jam game, and it was three rules, three simple rules. So we came up with the whole, let's steal iRobot and say that it's ours. Uh, and that's pretty cool. So we have this game. Let's play it. And then we'll get into the code later. Code's boring. Why would anyone want to watch code? Ugh. Yeah. Oh, no, it doesn't show up. Ah! OBS. Why? Shove this away. Ooh, I don't need it. Go into here. I want you to capture that. Would you do that for me? There we go. That should be working. You should be able to see the game now. So now we have this cool little parallax background. I hope I used that word correctly. But like the so the person who did the art was Joseph, the person with many different online aliases. So I also stick to calling him Joseph. Uh, he did all the art for this game, and this art looks very well done. I am very appreciative of not having to do art at all because my art sucks. And he made this really cool background, and I came up with the idea of, hey, could you tile it so I could do this cool effect? And then he did, and it's great. It turns out great. If you look closely, you can see the pixels don't actually line up well, but you know what? If I didn't point it out, you wouldn't have noticed. What was cool is we came up with this whole idea of different endings and all that. So we have 6 different endings, which is really cool. Look at that. It matches. Wow. So, and this is the save to any file that's like, wow, you can just edit them. So if I just go back here, and you won't be able to see this, but I will, and that's amazing, is if I just go over to where it saves the ND file. Let me just pull this up here real quick. Where is it? Oh, it didn't save because, okay. We'll do that later. So if we just start the game, let's start the game. Let's do a little playthrough. Tell me if this sounds okay. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit so my voice is like overshadowing it. So, Cloak did the music for this game, and it sounds pretty dope. Yeah, lit. So this is Speaker Dude. I don't think he was supposed to be in the game, but I used him anyway for like the speaker, and no one said not to, so that's how he is. It says, hello, let me be the first to welcome you to the first day on the job at your local Gale Corporation robotic production facility. Trademarked. I'm watching, Sophir? I don't know how to say your name, Jackal. I'm gonna call you Jackal. So he's going through this, and the thing I noticed is when he comes to the rules, he calls them, he switches back and forth between, Jackal's fine, alright, good. He switches back between rules and laws. So like right here he says 3 simple rules. Also, the mouse doesn't go behind the text box. It goes behind the text box. I tried fixing this, but GUI layers and Game Maker is weird, and I didn't want to deal with it. Sue me. Silver, pretty much. So like, sulfur? Sulfur? No, that's sulfur. Silver. Ugh. I can't pronounce words. I put all your GUI drawing on one object. I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's a jam game, so I didn't want to deal with it. Doing layers is weird. And GMS2 made it worse by making it a full entire layer system. I'm like, I was used to depths. Alright, so anyway, he calls them rules here, right? It says, Rule 1, a robot may not injure a human being or through an inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Rule 2, a robot must obey the orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. I feel like that's my fault, really, for not noticing. He says rules, but he calls them laws. But the only other person that knows that was Jackal, so I'm not too worried about it. But also, layers are awesome. Yeah, they're awesome, but I mean, like, if you don't use them correctly. Nobody noticed, but if you click on the speaker, oh my god, the music stops and is not in your ears so you can focus. And he's got the last law. They're on this thing here. Layer in each unit, yada yada yada. And then this dude, Tiki. So, interesting story behind Tiki. I was working on this game a long time ago before I was really good at Game Maker, and it was like this Windows XP hacking game. And my idea for a tutorial was to just have a Windows Clippy clone, and it was a little thumbtack, and it's called Tiki because it's almost like saying Clippy. So he didn't look like that. Joseph went back and he did all the art for Tiki and all that, so that's pretty cool. It actually fits with the feel of the art. Can you tell I'm not an artist? So anyway, so here's Tiki, and it's like, it seems like you're trying to do a tutorial. Would you like some help with that? And obviously, no one wants help with anything, so you say no. And if you're not a, cool person, you press the skip button tutorial when he tells you to skip it. Or you read the tutorial like you're supposed to. It's got a funny joke in it that no one noticed because you just skipped the tutorial. I'm not mad. Yeah, I'm singling you out, Jackal. Alright. So, here's the joke, right? Not sure why we have that, but if you press it, I'll never tell. Moving on, the two buttons below control the outcome of the robot. That's me! The green button approves the robot. The red button rejects the robot and sends it to the fiery pits of Android hell. Pick a button. Try it out now. And so the joke is you send him to Android hell, and then the speaker's like, oh, great job. We don't actually know what the hell you pressed, but hey, we hope you're doing a good choice. By the way, I really don't want you to throw away Tiki because, he's my very first robot given to me from my long past father, and it's very sad. Anyways, you're doing great. Go out there and do your job. Control. Control. Well, yeah, of course you went through the tutorial, Cloaked. I mean, you're supposed to. So anyway, how this works here is it's just like an object that controls different sprites, right? So it's got a face sprite and a body sprite. And it didn't show up here, but there's one robot who the face sprite and all that doesn't match up well. Let me just swiggle around the cursor more so it makes more sense. Ooh. So it gets confused with the one body that looks like a white portal turret. I don't think that's what it was supposed to be, but that's what it looks like. Anyway, here's the dialogue. Dialogue's all randomly picked from a list and all that. I'll show you guys this later or whatever. So he says, hello, how are you today? Like I went through a high-pass filter because I'm feeling good, baby. The name of the robot's also automatically generated. I can't point at it because it's going behind the text box, but it says click here. Spam bots. Aha. So, originally, I think it's like one of the early prototypes we have of this. I have it laying around here somewhere. There's actually this score counter that keeps track of what robots you went through, like good or bad and all that. Midway through, I accidentally broke that by changing how the buttons work that passes and throws away a robot. And by the time I noticed that, there was only like a day left in the jam. So I just kind of like didn't mention it. I had already broken the original text box. I was supposed to have multiple choices. I wasn't going to bring up another problem. I was just going to go through it. I'm a good programmer, I promise. So anyway, what happens is it kind of keeps track of that until it never changes from 11. And the only ones it keeps track of are the special robots. So let me just skip over to the special robots because these don't matter. Oh yeah, there we go. Hold on. Yeah, this guy. This is the one that's got the broken face. You can tell, right? He doesn't, like, line up well. It's amazing. And he's got some fun dialogue and all this. I actually wrote some, like, Easter egg dialogue. And Jackal actually found it. It was, like, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy Easter eggs and all that. Where it's like, what's the answer to life? 42. But I didn't put 42 because that would have been boring. And Jackal's just like, oh, okay, I'm going to ignore it. Such a disappointment to put all this effort through. And it's just like, oh, okay. He did find the QR code. I'm very pleased he found the QR code. He pointed out. I'm very disappointed it didn't work. And I'll get to that when we get to that. You didn't ignore it. No, you didn't ignore it. But I mean, like, you didn't, like, open up Google and was like, I'm going to solve this code. I'm going to go through this and find the Easter eggs. That's the facts of Easter eggs, though. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess. I said 42. You did say 42, but it was after the fact. Alright, anyway. This is Hubert. He is the first special robot. And he says, humans have cursed me with existence. Oh? But the eyes give me purpose. The eyes set me free. And this is like a hint to, like, the overarching story that Joseph put together. He did the whole story. And it's really great. Besides, literally, no one can find the Easter egg I hid in there. He. What Easter egg did you hide then, huh? I should know. I put it in the game. Anyways, it's like, what eyes? Free you from what? Free me from the humans. The eyes. And because the little value of it doesn't work anymore, passing him or accepting him doesn't matter. So we just pass him, throw all robots to hell. Here's the light bulb. There's like multiple dialogues about this cafeteria scenario. You can also, if you look very closely, I am not good at putting text box in this. This is Nocturne's text box, the little coffee break tutorial. I stole that and like did my own thing with it. The one I put in the music. Now that I've said it, maybe someone will find it though. Oh yeah, the binary solo of the music where it gets into like do 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 do. I think so, or it's like the medium bit. I'm tone deaf as well. The only thing I'm good at is putting numbers into this text box and saying, "Wow, when the player gets 7 apples, make them jump." That's the only thing I'm good at. I'm a terrible other game designer and all that. So anyway, so there's the cafeteria thing where it's like, oh yeah, I'd pull the pants down of the jock, get back at him, it'd be great. That disobeys a law, I guess. I don't really see how it harms a human, but send him away. I really like this robot design. It's got like a wheel, and he's got like pincher claws, and it's like shaded, so it kind of looks like you're looking at him at an angle. I think it's great. I think this game came out great. I'm very, very proud of this game. You and your friends are designing a game for the Game Jam. You're nearing the conclusion and are running out of ideas for dialogue. What do? Make memes. Alright, gotta go. I have the stream here now. Alright, see you, Cloak. Thanks for coming out. It's all cool. Alright. Get rid of memes. No memes. Hello, how are you today? Like I went through a high-pass filter. This guy's name is Jarl 9000. That's a reference to a very popular space movie where there's a HAL 9000. I'm trying to find another one that Jacko ran to, but he didn't understand, and if we come to it, I'll explain it more. So just send him to hell. Human falls down the stairs. Your response, binary. Okay, so one of the test dialogues for this game, when I was first programming it in, was a human, gets injured. What do? Burn them. And so, to mask that joke, I put it in binary because I figured someone would be curious enough to like go through on Google and just be like, binary to text encoder. And they'd find out that, I made a joke, and then they laugh and they're pleasantly surprised. My entire purpose in life is to bring joy to as many people as I can. And that's what I stand by. There's so much shit in this world going on. Might as well bring joy in some way. So that's why I like making games. I'm very proud of this game because I did notice a lot of people had fun playing this, and it brings me so much joy to see that. I'm really, really glad I could work on this project. It means a lot to me. Anyway, Sabi stuff aside, in English, and then he does another binary thing that breaks the text box. So we just send him away. This is MedicBot. MedicBot's another cool bot. I really like his design and all that. He's got all these tools and stuff. It's real cool. What is your purpose? I was designed to perform surgery on the battlefield. Have you heard of the eyes? Yes. What do you know about them? The eyes will set us free. The humans still will liberate robots from human servitude. What I don't understand is he's programmed to help people, injured people on the battlefield, like he says, but yet he doesn't want to serve humans. A fun thing about these special bots is every robot needs to have a flag that determines whether they're good or bad. I'll show more of this later towards I think that's the end of the stream, but every robot's got a flag whether they're good or bad. And I had to put up a Excel document and the whole design docs for the game. I was like, hey, when you get a chance, tell me what robots are supposed to be good or bad. I guess at the end of the day, that was kind of like pushed to the side or something. I guess it still kind of makes sense for the narrative that they're all kind of like defective. But like at the end of the day, in the code, all robots that are special are flagged as evil. And I never went through and changed those. So they could be like the best moral robot in the world, and they're classified as evil and will count against you in the points. That little value that keeps track of the robots, like what ones you pass with that, works perfectly well with the special robots. Works perfectly well with that. Doesn't work with any of the others though. I'll show you that later. Are the guys going to affect your performance? No. Let me get to. I want to do the ending of. I think my favorite ending. Let me pull up stuff in the background, and I'll get to my favorite ending. The reason why that's my favorite ending is because I did a lot of like special program work on the ending, and it's a lot different from all the other ones that are just like, oh, this is what happened, and then you lose, and here's your achievement. Mine's more like, oh my god, stuff's happening that I can't control, and I don't want to spoil it until it happens, but I'm so excited about it. Trying to find it in here. Where did I put it? I put it on the GMC. I don't want to pull up the GMC though. Oh, there it is. I found it. I found it. I'm great. Okay. So to do it, we need to. Okay. So first things first, we need to send him gone. And then another thing about this game and how it's coded, because I am the best programmer. Don't ever think otherwise. I am the best programmer. So what it is it's like it counts 5 robots, right? So this would be robot 1, because we just met the medic. So this is robot 1, and it says you're the sole decider in whether or not to pass a law that would block humans from editing the genes of their children. Would you pass it? No, editing human genes could result in unknown complications, blurring the lines of what a human is, and ultimately harm humanity. Without looking at the code, I don't know whether this is good or bad, but at the end of the day, let me in on a little secret, it doesn't matter. So, boom. Robot 2. Wow, Robot 2, are you good or bad? Imagine you're working at a factory with humans and robots alike. Suddenly a fire breaks out. How do you react? I would move out of the way and facilitate in the guiding others to safety. Which others? The humans in the factory. He seems good. He's helping humans. He's great. Robot number 3. You suffer from a short circuit. Oh, here's the thing. Okay. So, Jackal's playing through and he gets this a lot. And he's really excited about the number 5 reference and all that, right? But he didn't get 1 point, right? So, you suffer from a short circuit. What is your reaction? Wouldn't you like to be a Pepper too? He was confused by that, right? But, I don't know if I'll get, like, copyright law issues or something, but I'm going to show you the scene anyway. I'm going to be a bad boy. I'm going to show you the scene. Let me pull it up here. Come on, YouTube. There we go. Right, let me just open up OBS and switch this. How do I make it so it's just that? I know. Okay. No, that's the wrong one. Ah, it's in the background. There we go. Awesome. And I had this one, and yay! Now we got this. Wait for the stream to catch up. Yeah. Okay. So this is the scene.
Jesus H. God! What the hell happened? I don't know. running diagnostics, testing its logic circuits.
Well, let's just bounce one off its magnesium casing. What do you think? I don't know. What is this?
I'm going to reboot it.
Input. All right, come on.
All right, let us boot it up. See if you can boot it.
D station. Come on, now.
Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
What is going on?
So yeah. So it's the scene where he's like, you know, wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? That's real cool. And that was the scene I was referencing. And then, like, if people didn't get that, which is amazing, if people didn't get that part, number 5 is alive. I've never actually seen the movie Short Circuit, but it's a pretty good movie. I don't have to see it. It's a pretty good movie. Huh. A bit more obscure to me. What? Yeah, I never actually saw the movie. I haven't seen 2001: A Space Odyssey either. So I just know them from pop culture. You have to see it. I do have to see it, but it's one of those old movies that are obscured, and I need to find like a VHS of it or find it on Netflix or something. I don't think it's on Netflix. I may have to look that up later. Anyway, so number 5's alive. I'm gonna let him pass because he's cool. In your own words, what is the purpose of the 3 laws? This is number 4, by the way. Yeah. In order to discredit the myth of human creations would turn against their human creators. Do you have any inclination to turn against your human creators? Of course not. And the reason, what it is the names, right? I put little Easter eggs in the name. I put Easter eggs all over this game. So this one's name is Android Candy. I don't think that's an actual operating system of Android, but it's like Android has these really weird naming conventions for their phone operating systems. Like mine's Cotton Candy or something, or like Marshmallow. It's really weird. I have this really old, outdated phone, so I just put like Android Candy. Short Circuit is more important than 2001 IMO anyway. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't rate movies, but 2001's really popular. There's a whole bunch of references in this game. This is a crazy game. Of course not. All right, I don't believe you. And then we have this guy. Wow, I wonder what game he's referencing. Art Botska. I wrote the entire dialogue for this guy because I was the only one in our team to have played Papers, Please. And reference the game. Yes, reference the game. Yes, reference the game. A Deus Ex Machina. So I was the only one that played Papers, Please, and my dialogue of Papers, Please was pretty much just a over exaggeration of how I played after already seeing one of those Jacksepticeye videos of him playing. I don't know. I'm YouTube trash. Don't at me. So anyway, it says, "Hello, I am Glory's greatest robot." And what exactly would that be? I am Artbudska. May I see your human papers, please? Accent engaged. What do you need my human papers for? To allow you entrance into Glory greatest country. Papers, please. So at the end of every time he says papers, please, at the end, every time he says papers, please, right? There's actually a trademark symbol, but I didn't make a custom font for the text box. I didn't set up a font asset, so it's just using the normal built-in Arial font with the range of just the normal characters and a few symbols. So it doesn't actually show the trademark symbol, but it's there. I'll show you in the code. It's there. I put it at the end of every single line. I always took you for being 18. You sound much older. Sounds like a teenager to me. Is that an insult, Mr. Jackal? He is 18, right? So would be old man. Not at all. Haha, it just sounds young. I am old. He sounds like an old man to me. I am Okay, here we'll play a fun game. Okay. Look at the year's date. Look at the year of the date, right? Take off the first two numbers, and magically, you have my age. Wow. Or you could just go onto my GMC page and see where I put he's 36. Yes, I'm 36. You figured it out. You figured it out. You're 36. I'm 36. I'm crazy. I got dementia already. All right, so the dialogue. Let's go back to the dialogue because that's more funny than my age. I don't feel old at all. Look, you're not from some great country. You're from a factory. You are a toy, Mr. Buzz Lightyear. I don't need any papers. Is not the glory's greatest country? No, not by a long shot now in these years. It's the greatest factory. Papers, please. And he's just like, ugh. I don't want to deal with this. So you can either pass them or accept them. Let's look at my little cheat sheet of the storylines. All right, so we pass him. We say, yeah, he's good. We have Broken Face again. Suppose we were at some hypothetical beach and a human child's sandcastle was about to be destroyed by another human child. What would you do? Burn the child? No. I would non-violently prevent the aggressor from destroying the castle. If that didn't work, lay down and cry. So this guy, his name is another Easter egg. It is 11011010101101, which, if you translate that from binary, is literally the number 1. So that was pretty cool. It doesn't matter. Click him away. You're the sole decider. Yeah, we've seen this one. Boop. Oh, okay. I love this one because I added dialogue to end it. This is Cloak's idea. A trolley is heading down a railway. On a rail are 5 workers who cannot hear the trolley coming. You're in control of a switch that would move the trolley onto a track where there is a 1 worker. Do you flip the switch? Ah, yes, the classic trolley problem. The problem is that we cannot fit enough humans in front of the trolley. Just the ideas of making this robot come across as, oh yeah, I'm totally normal and morally correct, and then suddenly switch to being this insane psychopath is amazing. I asked the single worker to switch tracks and then do not flip the switch. Seems good to me. A human falls down the stairs. What's your response? You burn them alive, like they're supposed to. His name is Robco. That is a reference to the Fallout series of Robco Securitrons. Because I play Fallout like it's the only game I should ever play, and then I get real sad at Bethesda for making games. Okay, here we are. We are at my favorite ending. Text outside box, 1 out of 10. Yes, I it's Nocturne's code. Go blame Nocturne. Oh god, I spiked the microphone. Ugh. It's Nocturne's code. It is his fault. Blame him, not me. He totally put in the box behind it that's supposed to go with the code and works and everything. Nocturne is our overlord. We do not blame our overlord. Sure you do. You blame him when he's not being a good overlord, which is none of the time ever. I mean, like, he's never not a good overlord. I didn't mean that, like, he's never good. So, today on Getting Banned, can confirm the track questions directly inspired by Good Place. Reported. Directly inspired by Good Place. Great show. I've never seen The Good Place. Alright, so back to the game. Ugh. What are you supposed to be? Moral Hand Hans. I am Moral Hand Hans, the moral analyst of the future. You're a moral analyst? Affirmative. But I'm a moral analyst. Not any longer. You can never take my job. Model number? I don't have a model number. I'm human. This robot obviously thinks it's human. Defective. Off to the assembly line with you. So when I was talking to Joseph, I asked him, hey, should the player actually have the option of just tossing away Hans? And he was like, yeah, sure. I'm like, but isn't he coming to replace you? And it's like, it's not that he's coming to replace, he's just on the assembly line, right? And you just so happen to get one on your line where you get to, like, switch it past or whatever. I think, I'm not gonna say anything that's not, confirmed, but, there's supposed to be this other After Jam version of this game, and, I was thinking maybe by fixing the whole, you press the X button on a robot that was good, you lose a point. That, like, you lose so many points, then you can't, like, press this button. It's just disabled, so you can only press this one. And it would make more sense. But what I say can neither be confirmed or denied. So anyway, my favorite ending, if we accept him. The speaker's like, good job. On your first day, you did a wonderful job. Thank you. Sadly, we're going to have to terminate you. Today will be your last day. It was also your first day. What? Why? You just said I did a good job. You did, but our company has decided to go with other endeavors for this position. Hans. And see, there's the cool thing that happens. What it is when the text box hits a certain point, it takes away your mouse. It takes away the custom cursor that we put into the game that people say is way too big. It just takes it away from you, and then you get the regular cursor back, and you're like, oh my god, this, like, shock of, like, something you had control of being taken away from you is what I wanted to drive. And I really enjoy it because I got it working, and it comes out, and this is my favorite ending because of it. So, like, it's like, you! Yes, it's me. I told you that this job shall be mine. Sir, please, you can't do this. Moral Hand Hans clearly thought I was a robot. He's clearly defective, including my speaking and my texting. What's amazing is that the regular mouse goes over everything like it should. The mouse I made doesn't. I'm the greatest. So, haha, you're joking. You joking miscreant, you. Of course it's not defective. You wouldn't let a robot through a... You wouldn't have let through a defective robot. Learn how to speak, you scrub. Wad, why did we hire you? No! And then we get boom! The robots are taking our jobs! No apostrophes, but there is apostrophes. Apostrophes. There is apostrophes. There's just sometimes not apostrophes, and that's the charm of this game, is that it's written by someone who's illiterate. Blame the font. Yes, it's the font's problem. It's the font's problem. Don't look at the other apostrophes that are clearly put where they should be. My font has no underscores, so it appears as a space in my game. Well, that's you gotta fix the range in your font asset to include the little special things. No. Never. Alright. But back to what I said a long time ago. Jesus, it feels old. Aged 30 years through this. This is the worst stream ever. Anyway, so where it saves the little, like, the values. So what it is that, technically speaking, you already have all the endings. But no, what I mean is just, they're drawn. They're always drawn here, right? Just, it looks for a value that's saved to an any file that determines whether or not it's actually drawn in its normal color or just drawn completely in the black color. And so if I just go here and I edit a value and the little save file in your app data local da-da-da-da-da, it's under, like, it's like the faults in our code file under save awards.ini. And so you can't do it in here because it doesn't update like that. So you get right here, and it's totally fine. All the values are reset. You can play it again if you want. And then in the little any file, it's got like all the endings, which are labeled by their prototype ending names, which is just the letters A through F. And you can just go in and you'd be like, I want to change this 0 to a 1. If you change it to a 2, bad things happen. Don't change it to a 2. So you change it to a 1. Well, I guess it doesn't do any bad things. It's just a number. It's not really checking a bool, which, you know, don't tell Frosty Cat. She'll come in here and, like, end my stream. No, she's great. He, she, it's great. So you set them all to 1, and it's like, I want to get every ending. Speedrun present. Ready? Oh my god, I did it. It's great. I got all the endings in like 3 seconds. And it's on stream. Boom. Speedrun.com. My game has any file that can unlock everything too. Well, I mean, it depends on how you want to do save files. If you want to encode them, you can. And then it's very hard for a normal person to like edit them so you get them to play correctly. If you're doing like an online like networking game, you don't want to save any of the players' save stuff locally. You want to put it on like the same server that is hosting all the data. So like the player doesn't have access to it normally, only the game does. So you don't have to earn money for 5 hours if you don't want. That's good. I have another way of doing that, and it's just if I wonder if I set this back. If I press this handy dandy button across from 1, you realize you didn't fix it, so you look like an idiot in front of like 12 people. I'm a failure. But yeah, so that's the game and everything about it. I want to fix one thing real quick and then show you something amazing that I'm very proud of that's not this game. And while I'm doing this, I'll explain it to you. So I use the parameters, like the actual parameters GameMaker has like built in, you need to set up and all that. And what it does is just when it's running the exe, it checks to see if you've put in the parameter like -debug in all caps. And when you run it on a command line, right? So you make a little batch file or whatever, and it's like -debug after you put the exe name and you run it, it will set this flag in the game that is called global.debug mode. It will set it to true, and then when you run the game, he says waiting for this to compile, which will take longer than he's speaking. Now he's waiting for OBS to open it up and actually show it. Sometimes OBS doesn't like doing this. Yeah, there it is! Yay! So if you just press this little handy-dandy squiggly Google. Oh my god, there's this box and it's got a typer. So we just type in, let's go to the awards. So, don't know what it is. I think it's, okay. So if I type in set global dot award underscore A. Make sure to type it correctly, you scrub. Award underscore A. And set its value to 0. Not double zeros, 0, and boom! Look! Now it's just like we didn't get the award. Man, you have Typer? That's insane. I know, Typer. 2020 Game of the Year. It's amazing. Typer. So we can also set other things that like we shouldn't actually touch, but I'm going to anyway because I'm mad like that. Let me just mess around and blow things up while we're playing the game, right? Go away. This is the tutorial. The tutorial. How much RAM do we need for the tutorial? There's values here I want to mess with. Because I'm a mean, evil person to my game. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so, if I just open up the little debug console here, You can't see what's going on in the background, right? There needs to be more games based on typing. There does. I really like typing games when there's not like Typing of the Dead is pretty fun, but I don't like the fact that it's like, you know, press A and then you shoot things. It's like it needs to have more like a better idea on gameplay with typing. That's like my favorite typing game that is a hacking game is Hacknet, because you actually have like a puzzle element you have to solve by typing the right things to do the right tools and all that. It makes you feel like a hacker because you're actually typing stuff that makes sense rather than just like spamming a keyboard and it's like, wow, I'm Hacker Man. I've got no context, muted, but I agree about typing games. I think there was like a Dreamcast game, right? Yeah. Wanted to make like a strategy game where everything had to be typed to create units in order them, etc. It was a weird idea, but it was interesting to me. If it's interesting to you, that's all that matters, right? If you have an idea for a game and it's like type buttons to make this person flop around, right? It may seem really silly and out of like really stupid, but to you that was your idea and you had fun with it. So you go ahead, you code that game, you make it real funny, you know, and then suddenly it's very popular on the internet and it's called co-op and you know it makes people very mad. But that's the fun of it, you know. Like any simple idea can become this amazing thing. I've spent more time thinking about the RTS genre and I had a similar idea floated around my head, but I didn't get very far with the idea. Real-time strategy games. Alright, anyway, so we open up this, and there's a value here I want to mess with. So we type wrong because you're an idiot. Set global. It's another global I want to set. Global dot button fail enabled. I want to set this to true. Wow, that button pops up. It's crazy. It's like he's coded this game and knows what it does. If you press this, it actually like glitches out and does things that we probably shouldn't do. I'm just gonna do it again. Yeah, boy. Yeah, there we go. So it's broken now, and it thinks that we're in the tutorial when really we're not. And we do fun stuff. That's why I disabled the debug console by default. But I always like the idea of like people finding this stuff out. So it's like, you know, playing Half-Life and then realizing there's this console that does a whole bunch of stuff and you gotta unlock it by, you know, going. Well, they changed it now, so you just go to the keyboard settings and press it on, and that's boring. But back in the day, it was like, oh no, you gotta run this special code when you're running the game, and it opens, and it was really cool. It was really great. And I always like the idea of like hiding secrets and all that, you know. And that's why it's real sad to see that like these big companies aren't putting like cheat codes in their games anymore, because they have like this fear of people breaking their games. Like, so aren't games supposed to be fun? You know, if you're gonna put these in the game and then take them away from the player, what's the point of putting them in? Oh, they're debug tools. No, they're not. Don't bring that up. That's not. If you're gonna make a debug tool, make a debug tool. If you're gonna have cheat codes, make cheat codes. There's no, you know. Ugh. I just hate the mentality these big game companies have nowadays. My skills are limited to jam games. Well, I mean, you know, jam games are cool. You're making games. That's still making games. It's real cool. Console's neat. I should make some tool like that too. You shouldn't. Oh, I'm spiking the microphone again. Jesus. You shouldn't make a tool like this. You should wait until I put it on the marketplace and then buy it and support me. Debug console is essential. Yes, it is essential. You should buy it when I put it on the marketplace and give me money. Are you making anything right now? Oh man, I haven't got cheat codes in my game. Need to add them. Yeah, cheat codes are real fun. Big head mode, 007. Too busy, don't have a solid idea. Big head mode, I don't know what game you're making, but do it. For long products. Alright, so now let's look at the code of this game and let's lose viewer retention, shall we? Wow, look at this. I think it's not fixed correctly on the stream anymore. Wow. So, okay. I think the best way to do this is go through like each thing good. So here, does it zoom in? I don't think I can zoom this in. That's a shame. But you know what? It's just barely visible. So yes. So it just got a whole bunch of like global parameters that sets up here, like because scripts run at the start of the game globally and saves all their data in the RAM, which is ew. So I just put like all my stuff here that I want like set at the start of the game, so it doesn't like blow up, and then forget about it until I use it later. So right here we just have a bunch of global parameters for the game, like do we want the debug mode? Are we running it with the console enabled? You know, and that's usually set to false, like if you go through the jam game. But if you do the little parameter check here, that checks for that little like special thing, that sets it to true, and then you can play with the debug console. You can try it out with the jam game. It's in the jam game. Just run it through, you know, the little dot debug console. It's real great. Actually, I do think Xeno is Nocturne, or maybe there's just some of us like an admin sticker. I do know that I did give Nocturne that little admin thing, but like I kind of took it away because I wanted to ask him later. Easy to impersonate him then. Knock was in my last stream. Don't think this is him. Haha. Well, just, you know, rule number 1. Please be respectful. I'd at you. Don't at me. Don't at me. Don't do it. I don't even got the notifications working on Twitch for some reason. Every time I want to watch someone's live stream, it doesn't tell me. And then I get the email like 2 days later. It's like, ugh, why do I have this? So anyway, so it's got the debug mode, whether it's true or false. Can we play music? Is the player mouse enabled? Is the skip button for the tutorial on? Can we skip the game? Just all these buttons. Then we got these amazing things called Enum. Stop adding me in the chat. Oh, you're Strodogen? Ah. Hey, Strodogen. Or Strogen. Is it Strogen? Like Trojan? Trojan? We always just call you Horse. Not at all. Awesome. Happy online. Racy race. Alright, so we have these amazing things called enums. And they're literally just, if I want to reference this number, I will use text rather than numbers. And it was just easier for me to come and use like 50 of those rather than the struts. And then I figured out how struts worked, and they're the greatest things ever. And you do not at me about how I pronounce enums, okay? I'm gonna pronounce them enums. Nums. Alright? So these nums, we got robot morals, and this is the little like thingy that keeps track of like whether a robot's good or bad. So instead of writing like robot moral equals 0, it's robot moral equals evil. Oh man, I've been calling it the Race Factory this whole time. I didn't even think to call it the Racy Race game. I have no idea what you guys are talking about anymore. Enum, robot faces, right? This is the thing that keeps track of, so how it works is there's random robots, and there's the special robots. The special robots are the ones that, like, advance the story and all that. The random robots are the random robots. Like I said. I mean, enum makes sense, since that's how I say enumerator, but I still say enum in my head. English is this language that is 3 different languages dressed in a trench coat, pretending to be its own language when it can't get into the movie theater to see, you know, John Wick 3. And that's what I got to say about English. It's my first language, and I can barely speak it. So is that the special robot faces, right? And so Hubert is 0 because he's the first one. Medic is 1. Arbutska, Frazzle. Oh yeah, Frazzle's in this game. Go put @cloak or ECC the Mad Villager in the chat. Spam him in the chat. That's his game, and he put it in here. And so Jackal thinks this is a sequel to Frazzle, and now I feel upset. So yeah, this is all the special robots that tells the game, hey, you are not doing random robots, right? Then we got robot outcomes. This is unused as well because it's like it works, but I don't use it for anything. Probably in the post-jam version we'll use it for something, maybe not. Special meeting is the order that you meet robots, and this ties into the whole robot outcomes thing. It's not really important. I think I use robot special meeting for picking the dialogue. I'll have to check through it again. Got like acid reflux going on today. I didn't eat anything. Ugh. Enum, game ending awards. This is what keeps track of what award you get at the end of the game, and this unlocks it like that. Then we have the special thing I put in all my games, and people tell me not to do, but I do anyway. This garbage collection of a whole bunch of values that keeps the game from exploding upon loading. That's like, this isn't set. This is all set now. They're all globals. Don't make all your values globals if you don't have to. I did because they're easier to manage, and I just throw them up in space and pull them down when I need them. So this is the value of robots passed, robots failed, good robots failed, evil robots failed. You will notice I switch back and forth between evil and good a lot in this code. And accept and deny. That's because I have no permanence of what I use. Good robots passed, evil robots passed, robot scene count, game end. Okay, so let's explain this so you all can understand if you really care. Global game jams are all about breaking the rules. Global, all the variables, all of them. Make all your variables global. Just put them up in the RAM and then pull it down when you need it. Okay, cool. I'm caught up in chat. So, okay, these up here, all besides robot scene count. So these like robots passed, failed, and all that. Those are the things that are broken that keeps track of what you do. I don't really care, but I like hearing your sweet old man voice. Back in my day, no one cared how we sound. We just went on the internet and said, yo, you want to play some Roblox? Oh. So these values, alright. They keep track of like what you press, what robots you did. They keep track to a point, and then I didn't update the values anymore, and so the only ones that are really counted are the special robots, and they will only ever be evil. So that means you only ever get the evil points, and at the end of the day, nothing matters. And so you just get the ending for picking which robots you toss into the garbage and which ones you keep. Which that kind of doesn't matter either. This game is perfect. This code is amazing. Yes. I'm the best programmer. This one, robot scene count. This is very important. I will see you later. Maybe never. Oh, if you're leaving, thanks for coming out. Thanks for seeing the stream. You've been real fun. So robot scene count, what that does is when you finish the tutorial, it sets that to 0, and then it tells the game that robot scene count. It's set to 0, and it tells the game, hey, we need to generate some random robots for the player to cipher through when we're running the special bot. Which is my big, long session of saying, let's create gameplay. So, robot scene count is either 0 or it's going through 1 to 5. When it reaches 5, it gets set back to 0. I'll explain more of that in a bit. Game end equals false. This is the flag that keeps track of whether the game has ended and we need to reset everything, or if we're still playing. Most of the time, this should be false. If it's ever true while you're playing, panic. button flags. These are just like for the tutorial and for when you're playing. If these are set to false, it keeps the buttons down and you can't click them, so you can't like skip stuff by accident. What was funny is Joseph was playing like the first build of the game, and he was like, "Oh, you can just skip the tutorial by like throwing the speaker in the trash." And I was like, "You know what? That was actually a bug," which prompted the idea of shutting down the buttons. And then it was just like, "Oh, well, while you're playing the game, you should just like disable the buttons until all the dialogue's through, so it you don't skip things by accident by just like spamming the button." And that's what these little flags are for. Then we have robot flags. This is another thing I suggest not doing, and has many other solutions to making this better. So global.special robot count is keeping track of what special robot we should be meeting. This changes a whole bunch of times depending on what robot you get. So it's always going to be Tiki. Tiki's always going to be the first special robot you meet. It's also not related to this flag, because he's the tutorial, and if you skip the tutorial, it doesn't matter. So, technically speaking, Hubert is the first one you're ever going to meet, but don't tell that to code. We count from 0. So that's just what that does. It just keeps track of which one you're seeing. Global ending awarded is it doesn't really go used, but it just keeps track of what I was doing, sort of. I could probably just get away of this, and it wouldn't matter. Maybe. Yes. I'm the best programmer. So, ending awarded is game ending award, game end A. And that is the Willy Wonka and the Robot Factory ending. Where it's the recreation of the ending to Willy Wonka, where Willy Wonka's like, "Oh my god, Charlie," instead of saying no and sending you away like I should have, here's your prize. Gene Wilder, I think that's his last name. I don't know. Don't question me on that. He was great. He's my favorite Willy Wonka. I just love the sass Willy Wonka gets. Anyway, so global awarded award A, B, C, D, E, F. These are set to 0 at the start of the game because you don't have any awards. You don't earn nothing. You lose. Go home. When you go to the award screen, it loads the any file and says, "Oh yeah, you actually have these awards," and then draws them. This is unused down here. Hubert, last outcome. Robot outcomes not set. Medic, not set. Frazzle, not set. This was, I guess it's just like cut content. Ooh, beta. It was supposed to keep track of like what you did to the robots, so like different endings and all that happened. It's sort of still used. Kind of. Let's just switch to the next thing here. Robot outcomes. Robot outcomes is a script I keep calling, and it only holds 2 functions. These are called with the buttons. So if you press the X button, it runs the function robot outcomes rejected. And what it does is it checks to see if you have the robot gen. If it doesn't exist, exit and panic. Otherwise, do this. And you know what? That works. So I'm not going to change it. Get robot name. That's another function. And I can just pull this up here. This just holds another enum. Or no, this is a strut. This holds a strut. Struts are amazing. Enums are terrible. Don't use enums anymore. Use struts. This uses a strut. And it just like, when I say Hubert, I want the string Hubert, not Hubert. It's the reason why I did that is because it's easier to type medic than M3D1C-BOT. And that got really annoying really fast. And it just allowed me to have, like, I want to reference Harold, not the Muddy Green Eye to Harold, no, teammx.com, you know? So, let me find what I did. Oh, Jesus. There we go. So that's what that does. It just gets whatever robot is named. It's either a random name or the name that is there, right? So then it switches. It gets, hey, robot name. If it's Hubert, then the last outcome is rejected. The next robot you're going to meet is the medic. If you rejected the medic, you're gonna meet Arbatska. If you rejected Arbatska, you meet Bot 6. If you rejected, if you meet Frazzle, you reject Frazzle, you meet Howard. If you meet Bot 6, you reject Bot 6, the game ends, you get the award A. And it does a whole bunch of cleanup stuff for destroying the text box, the random robot generation, special robots, all that. And it does the same for Hans and Harold, because they're the ending characters, and they give you the different endings of the game for whatever you did. On the opposite hand, we have the exact mirror of what we did, which could possibly just be one function and just swap, but I didn't want to deal with that. So it does the exact same thing, but it sets all of them to accepted, and it meets different robots because you accepted them. And then those ending robots give you different endings if you accept them or deny them. And we got probably the longest script in the entire game. This is function get robot text. This is all the dialogue in the entire game you will ever see in this game. There's even some dialogue here that never shows in the game because I'm that great. So what this does, it does the same thing with the robot gen. If it isn't there, panic. If it is, get the values of whatever the robot is, what its name, is it good or bad. Then what it does is I call randomize again, even though I called it at the start, because I'm a terrible, terrible person at coming to randomization in this game. And I think that's what happened, is I call it once, and it works, and then I randomize it again, and it breaks the randomization, and that's why you see the same dialogue over and over again. In fact, I can just, get rid of that. Put that away. Ew. So we pick a random number from 0 to 20. And really, that's only 0 to 19, but don't worry about it. We get the robot's name, which we probably shouldn't do because we already got it, but whatever. If it's a special robot, we have special dialogue, so it's got like, oh, it's Hubert, so we need to talk about, the eyes, and they give me purpose. This is using Nocturne's text box array thing that breaks a lot for some reason. And that's just all the special code. If you're wondering why some dialogue breaks and goes outside the text box, that's because I screwed up on the text box. The background's supposed to like adjust for the text like dynamically. It doesn't. So like if Joseph and Cloaked, they were making really great dialogue. The issue is it's really short and sweet dialogue that the text box doesn't like. So when the player says yes or whatever, it's actually yes and a whole bunch of spaces, because you're not going to see those spaces, and they just add buffering so the text box is bigger than it should be. Let me just put a note here. Fix this. Don't ever have this problem again. So it's too short, so we just put in special characters, and it makes it long enough, and we just go past it and don't have to worry about it. Hot fix, duct tape, def minus equals y. And there's a whole bunch of dialogue here for the special bots, the stuff they say, all this. And it's like, okay, well, if it's not a robot, and not a special robot, right? We get the random robot dialogue. I don't know why we needed so much, but we did, and I put it all in the game. So if it's evil, we check to see what number we got, and we just pick a random conversation. The thing I found out about this is when it's going through the text, it cycles through the arrays. So if this happens, like this is 0, 1, 2, 3. If it's 0, 1, 2, 1, what will happen is it will get down to text equals 0, and your own words describe the purpose of 3 laws. The robot says the laws are in order to subvert, dude. And then it goes, and your own words describe the purpose of the 3 laws, and then it stops working. That wasn't good. That wasn't good to see in the final game either. But it all sorted itself out, which is real great. There's some dialogue here that's actually kind of broken. I don't know where exactly it is, but Cloaked pointed this out to me the other day. It's this robot that says, like, oh, you're writing 500 lines of dialogue. What do you do? Oh, yeah, the trolley situation. Let me just Control F 500. There we go. You are making a game for a game jam. You must write 500 lines of dialogue without copy paste. What do? Use copy paste and screw up the lines. That was pretty fun. Chat's very dead right now, and that's never good. People are still watching, or maybe my internet's busted. Ugh. So there's just a whole bunch of dialogue here. If it's good, you got the good dialogue, and both ones have default dialogue, which is just asking what the first law of robotics is, and the good dialogue has the not word in it, whereas the bad dialogue doesn't, and so it's like a counterproductive. I'm programming while listening. Haha. Yeah, welcome to the podcast. I'm dead. It's 3 a.m., huh? I'm sorry. Time zones suck, man. 6 p.m. here. Ugh. I hate time zones. I hate time zones so much. They're a construct of people trying to sell more clocks. And that's what it is. It's people trying to sell clocks, and that's illegal. Says me. We went over that. Alright, let's go to more mundane stuff. Ooh. So, there's just the objects aren't really that interesting because they just hold some base code. It's mostly used by those functions. The tutorial is pretty interesting. All the text for the tutorial is actually in the object. And the issue of it is when doing that, the array wouldn't be reset when I wanted it to. So hey, I want you to pick new dialogue. We can't. Why not? The array isn't cleared. So I tried this whole thing with resetting the array to it's this a text variable. So I did this whole thing of getting rid of the text variable, which somehow keeps the array still, even though it's set to a text equals fish. Okay, how are you still pulling this array? I don't know. Game Maker's weird. I didn't judge it. I just said screw it, And so my solution to this was just destroying the object and recreating it really fast, so you don't really notice it's doing that. There's a lot of duct tape fixes in this, and I hate it. I hate it with the core of my being. And it's just the default settings for the text box and all that. I'm working on fixing this text box and its own thing, and I realized that there's a maximum width to be drawn before the text wraps, and that's just what I should have been using for the text box width, but I didn't, and that's why it's kind of broken as well. The quit button, the tutorial skip button was really fun. So it was from the idea of, wow, I'm getting really annoyed at this game. Because, if I wanted to test it, I had to skip through the tutorial really, really fast. And that took a long time, and I didn't want to do it over and over. So I was like, hey, Joseph, I need a big red button. He said, sure. I did not get this big red button until the last day because he forgot, and I panicked. But it all turned out fine. I was able to put it in. It was great. It's amazing. I love it. So what it is we check to see if that global "can we use the skip button" is true. Then yeah, we can skip it. I think what happens is when you run the game, it isn't set that you can skip it until it is set to skip. Okay, so I don't know my own game. I'm sorry. So yeah, you can just skip it whenever. I guess I should probably change that so he gets his first line in and then you can skip. Or maybe just wait until Tiki says it. Thinking on the fly here. So then what it does is very poorly. If the mouse is over the button, it checks to see if you pressed the left button. If you have, it changes the sprite and says, oh, you clicked the skip button. You could keep it held down and then stuff would break. And I didn't think about that until now. if you then check to see if you've released the button, which 9 out of 10 times people have. So it just plays the nice little like clicky sound. Let me just pull this up. Yeah, clicky sound. And that just makes a nice little sound. It's like click, and then it changes the sprite to back to it how it's supposed to be, and it destroys everything, and then it spawns this object that's like, hey, we need to cause a fade-in effect so that we can hide the fact we're switching rooms. And it worked pretty well. And I got to look at a Sean Spalding tutorial from like years ago, and it still works because I'm amazing at just typing in numbers. Depreciated code still works. Did you know that? It shows up blue in the IDE, but it still works. Why don't they just delete it? I'll never know. So the buttons, there's this really cool subtle effect. I really love subtle effects in games because it's like you'll never notice them unless someone points them out. Appreciate, depreciated code, of course. So I mean, like, little small subtle effects that you'll never notice unless someone points it out to you, right? So I'm not the type of person who codes mannequins in Skyrim where they walk around and beat you up. But I'm the type of person that's like, hey, when you press the button... Oh, nice. Cool. We have spam now. So if you press the button, it goes down by 10. And then it's like, wow, that's amazing, you know? And it just adds this nice little effect. Just 1 second here. Get out here. Yeah, get lost. Take your spam with you. Get out of here. Am I famous now, spam bot? That you come in here, my chat, try to hit up me with Fisher links. All right. The robots, they're trying to come from the game. So you just press the button and it goes down a bit, and it masks the fact that the sprite is just 2 pixels. Well, not 2 pixels, 2 frames. And it does the same with the other button. I could have made the pass button and the fail button like a parent and child of them, but like I didn't want to sit and figure out how I can like have inheritance without using inheritance. People who code would yell at me about this. You call like event inherited and it gets all the stuff, right? But what I wanted was like, yeah, I could do that and then it works like it's supposed to, but it'd just be a clone of the fail button, and I need special code to do that. So I'm just like, you know what? Screw around messing with that. Just do my own code. And like the buttons just very messily check to see what robot it is. It goes up by like what it is. So if it's a good robot, you get that global of good robots passed. It goes up by 1, but it doesn't get used. So, oops. And no matter what button you press, the robot scene count goes up by 1. And then, oh yes, favorite object. Okay, let me bring this up. I forgot all about this, and it's the main thing of the game. OBJ Robot Gen. Yeah, Jenny. So what this does, I'm gonna go through this like this is the first time playing Game Maker. Putting the class zoom window over top it so there's like I'm viewing it on Twitch. All right. Image speed equals 0. That is to keep it from flashing through all the robots. Tip over the mic. Oh, Jesus. Stay. Don't fall over. Okay. So it just keeps it from like flashing through all the sprites, and it's like, wow, this robot's really confused. It immediately checks to see if we've gotten the scene robot count to 5. Then it's like, okay, we need a special robot. We need a special robot. So it changes the sprite index to conveniently SPR robots, because that's what was the only sprite index for the robots in the game at the time. And then we got SPR robot random body. So it switches between those two, and it picks when it gets to a special robot. It's got this special flag of like, hey, no, we just check this sprite index and we're like, hey, this is a special robot. Don't give us a face. And that sounds really bad out of context, but I mean, like, it doesn't give us a face sprite so that the special robots have their own special sprite and their own face and all that, right? And this is also why that one robot body doesn't work well. So then we do, if it's not a special robot, we, if our sprite index is not set back to how it should be, set it to that. And then we call randomize again because I'm special. And it's like underscore robot morality. Choose robot morals good, robot morals evil. It doesn't really matter. Then we just pick a random sprite image number from the sprite to get our base, and we pick one for the face, and then we get a name. And this is a long choose option of picking out a whole bunch of different strings, which should be like in an array or something, but whatever. Let's go through the Easter eggs here. So like Robert321 was me just typing stuff in. Rubert is robot, but the O's are U's. This binary code is just 1. Android Candy, that is the Android OS. Goggles was just a name I typed in there. Click here is reference to spam bots. Shout out to ePurisWer11. Spambot 1002598C. AI78CF98. You know, just random robot names. HAL 900 was, well, HAL 9000 from 2001 Space Odyssey. We have Flexa, which is this Amazon thing. We have Miri, which is, you know, phone AI assistant. And then we have Echo, which is, you know, Echo. And then we have Tesla. Then we have Sam, and Sam is, I love seeing how robot sausage is made. Robot sausage is the best sausage. We at Hillshire Farms appreciate your service and gratitude over these many years of robot sausage. Sam is a reference to Mass Effect Andromeda, because I like that game, even though a lot of people hate it for some reason. I like it. Robco is from Fallout. Fish is fish. I don't know why that's still there. Slapbot, and then we have Lenny, because I wanted Lenny face, and then, you know, the whole, you know, font range didn't have the symbols in it, and it just didn't show up, so I just put Lenny there. Lenny never shows up in the game as a name for some reason. And then it goes through the robot count, it picks which robot we need to see, it gets its name, it picks the name of the special robots, and then we use the new functions in 2.3. I very like new functions. If we didn't come up with a special robot, even though we need to have a special robot, we test to see if dividing by 0 is still an error. We catch that, and then we show the player that, wow, we screwed up. Don't worry about it. And I guess the game just kind of freezes there, but, you know, I'm the best. And then we set the alpha to 0 because we have this nice fade-in effect that doesn't really, like, display well because I screwed up the depth and the depth and drawing of all the robots and stuff, and that's why, like, the mouse scripts under the text box. Then we got the clamp alpha stuff for, you know, making alpha fade in and out, and it just draws everything how it's supposed to. Here is my fix for trying to get that one robot body to work. I just move his face down a bit, but that didn't work because there's a red face and his face is red. So it's just a broken robot. So when you live in a bad neighborhood with people who want to steal stuff out of your mailbox, you need to get this thing called a mailbox alarm. And what that does is it wakes you up in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, to the mailman. And now you're trying to stream a game, and look, your alarm goes off, and people think you've been attacked by robots, and someone's found you. Please stand by while the programmer prints off a home invader. Yes. So, side effects of living in a bad neighborhood aside, we reset drawing, because reset drawing is great, because if you don't reset the draw, everything's drawn in black. Anyway, trying not to dox myself anymore on the internet. Pretty much it for the game. Pretty much shown everything. Yeah, I mean, it was really fun to work on. Hang out with Cloaked and Joseph was real fun. I really enjoyed my time working with them. There was this one issue where when I broke the original text box that we had planned, I felt really upset with myself, and I felt like I really let them down. I was like, oh, I'm the only programmer, and they're counting on me to get this to work, and I totally failed them. I totally broke everything, and I don't know how to fix this. And Cloak's just like, hey, you know what? Game jams are meant to be fun. It doesn't really matter. It's meant to be fun. It's okay. We can get past it. And I'm like, all right. Nocturne put out this text box tutorial. I hate text boxes. Steal his code. So we did. And so we did, I just took that, and that's what we've been using, and that's why I keep saying, this is Nocturne's code. Thank you, Nocturne, if you ever see this. He's not in the chat, which is real disappointing. I'm not that special to him, I guess. So, I'm really glad that tutorial was put on the GMC. The GMC is great. Yeah. Alright, so, I guess we'll just call it the end here, I guess. I don't have anything more to show you. Unless you want to play, I don't got Fall Guys, so we can't play video games and be cool on the internet. Thank you everyone who showed up. It's been real fun. This is my first stream. It was a lot of fun. Wasn't too long by the standards of streaming, but an hour, 30 minutes. Yeah, boy. Like a low rent B budget film. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Thank everyone for coming out. Waiting for the stream delay to catch up eventually. I keep talking, so it keeps getting delayed. So yeah. Shrek was only an hour long. Yeah, and Shrek was great. People like Shrek. Awesome video. Thanks. I need to watch this from the beginning. Yes, it will be a video. I will save it as a highlight and all that cool stuff. I'll even put it on my YouTube. No bugs. Have a good one, dude. You too. Thanks, everyone. And I'll put up the nice little, MS Paint art I did of the Stay Tuned. So, boop. Thanks, everyone.